and boom goes the dynamite.
Alrighty, let's get rumbling here. It is time for the Daily Dive, the only live lacrosse talk show Monday through Friday. I am Michael Karvelis, and on the show today, our top story will be our Week 15 NLL attendances. If my nose is growing longer like Pinocchio, I think you might know why once I tell you what they are. We'll also talk about Week 15 and all that happened. Should NLL teams be allowed to fly private? I know it's a big discussion after San Diego came in and got off to a peppering start against the Saskatchewan Rush. Our last brew by B-Res Coffee Company will be 3 stars of the weekend. You don't want to miss who I'm giving credit to this weekend. I think you might be surprised with a few of them. Well, with a few would be 3. A couple of them. How's that sound? Without further ado, it's time for our top story presented by the Daily Dive store. I have a shirt coming in the mail pretty soon it's a white shirt with the Daily Dive logo. I cannot wait to wear it on the show as much as I can. I would want a beanie. I think the beanie would be cool to sport as well. But go to Daily Dive Lax on Twitter, click the link tree in our bio, and check out our store. You will not regret it. It's got awesome merchandise for you and your loved ones. Check it out. Help us as we help to grow the game. And here are the Week 15 NLL attendances. Are you ready to see who might be exaggerating just a bit? Here they are. As you can see, the Buffalo Bandits are almost 15,000 people. After a great game against Halifax last weekend, the Bandits were able to win that game this weekend as well on Friday. There's nothing to do in Buffalo on Friday night? Apparently not, because 14,896 strong show up in this game. And by the way, I've looked at it. It looked like it was all of 15,000. They might have shortchanged themselves because that was awesome. Another one that stood out to me besides the defending champion Colorado Mammoth looking good again. Can I be bluntly honest with everybody right now? And I know people are going to brag about, well, we promote them well. If you tell me there were 9,064 people watching the Georgia Swarm, I think you're absolutely lying. I don't know how else to say it at this point, but I have numerous screenshots from that game on my phone, which I can DM to you. I don't think I can post them on Twitter just like that. But you cannot convince me, unless they were on top of the stadium and outside the stadium watching, you cannot convince me that 9,064 people were at the game. I don't even know if 9,064 people watched that game. And I hate saying that. I know Rochester was there. You think a bunch of folks from Rochester, New York came down to see the Nighthawks? Because I don't. I do not. That team stunk it up last year. And the NLL cannot really move the needle. And I'm being brutally honest with everybody. I'm not making this up. But I think they are. 9,000. Tell me if you go on ESPN Plus right now, or if you watch the game in your local area, you cannot convince me that was 9,000 people. It might have been 7 at the most. But that's going to stop. I know right now the NLL may not be cracking down on that. They kind of self-report their attendances. That's disrespectful, though. You're basically telling me that the team who cannot win barely any games, all because they have Lyle Thompson, really? I would love, as a Georgia resident, for this to be true, that 9,064 people showed up to watch. But there's no way you can tell me otherwise. Again, I'm not saying it because I want it to fail. I would love if that was the case. I want to go see a game there next April. Well, not next April. Next month in April. And I might have to count them myself. Because how is it every single week they have 9,000 people? That's just, that can't be true. There are too many empty, if you were watching the game on ESPN Plus and you see so many empty seats in a row, there's no way you're hitting 9,000. I don't care how big Gas South Arena is. You mean to tell me those fans they want to watch Georgia Swarm lacrosse? Because I don't. This is the only team in the South, And I don't know if fans are traveling, but I promise you, I almost want to take when I go to that game, I'm going to try my best to go to the game next month. I'm going to try my best to see if it looks like 9,000 people. I'll take a picture of it. I'll take about 20 pictures to show everybody on Twitter from my own phone. There's no way. And I think it's absolutely sickening that they think that they try to sell that, because it's impossible that is the number. Another one that really made me happy, one that did make me happy, the Desert Dogs with 7,914 is stinking awesome. Because Las Vegas, I didn't believe. Listen. I know Las Vegas has done a great job promoting it. I know they have like the jerseys that, like the Wayne Gretzky Desert Dogs jersey. Those are cool. I know fans gravitate towards that. And in Las Vegas, they want stuff to do. I really believed in this whenever my AM Drive co-host, my other morning show, Aaron Crouch, he told me, he's a Vegas resident, like lives around the Strip area pretty much, and told me fans are getting excited to see the Savannah Bananas. If you don't know who they are, it's the team that used to be the Sand Gnats here in Savannah, Georgia, and they literally became an overnight sensation because of twerking like umpires, because they don't take the game of baseball seriously. That's why they're famous, okay? ESPN Plus has some whole thing on them now called like Banana Land or something like that. So now they're not just in Savannah, now they're touring. So we're stuck with the Ghost Pirates, who stink as a hockey team. Okay, you're from Georgia, you understand all the references I just made. But the fact is, I'm so happy that Desert Dogs almost hit 8,000. And I wonder how much of that is from the San Diego Seals Stadium Showdown. I know Desert Dogs played in that game. So this is awesome to see that they are growing and growing and growing. Now, here's the next one. It's the very next one on the list that makes me sick to my stomach. Saskatchewan Rush. 7,425. Weren't they getting like 8,000 or 9,000 a few weeks ago? Correct me if I'm wrong. But that's just brutal. You mean to tell me only less than 7,500 people showed up to the game? Like, what were they doing on Saturday night? Honest to God. Everyone knows, if you're a lacrosse fan, that Seals and Rush are a great rivalry. So what happened in Saskatoon on Saturday nights? I can't wait to talk to Cody Jansen, because that's just sad. It really is. Riptide over 5,000 is actually pretty cool. Because they saw a game where they actually beat the Wings, and I'll talk about that later on. But that was great that Riptide hit over the 5,000 mark. So shout out to them, 5,102. There it is right there on your screen. I'll let the ticker go by one more time, and then we'll take a break and talk about the games themselves. And also, should teams be able to fly private? I have a take that you might find interesting on why I believe one way or the other. That was our top story presented by Daily Dive Store. And we're here on Daily Dive Lax. There is those attendances underneath. And we are ready to see you guys in a bit. Don't go anywhere, because I know I'm not. Welcome back to Daily Dive. I'm your host, Michael Karvelis here. We are live on Daily Dive Lax on YouTube and Twitter. Also check us out on Facebook and Instagram as well. I've been trying to do more with the Instagram. It's pretty fun interacting with people on there. I know Logan Schuss is a regular watcher of the story. I'm just flexing. It's time for our Week 15 review presented by Fanatics. Head to our link tree on our social media bios. Click the Fanatics link and you can shop not just the NLL, but all sports, and it helps out the show tremendously. So go there. Again, Daily Dive Lax on Twitter. Click the link tree in the bio, and you too can get the best NLL and other sports merchandise. There is some breaking news here. It's a team that absolutely needs the breaking news to happen. According to the Albany Firewolves, 9 minutes ago, as we're talking live here, the Firewolves have acquired a second-round pick in the 2023 entry draft from Toronto Rock in exchange for Greg Downing. They added, "Thank you for everything, GD." That's a great acronym, by the way. I'm kidding, it's not, but you get what I'm saying. So shout out to the Firewolves for making a trade. We did not break that, so all credit to them for doing so. But yeah, Greg Downing to the Rock. So I guess the rich get richer, and the Firewolves, well, they stunk it up this week. So let's get to that game first then. And it's funny because these two teams just played each other. The Toronto Rock beat the Firewolves 12-6 in Toronto. We have had Nick Rose on the show before, and Nick Rose said it was an advantage that his team, there's a lot of guys that live locally, which is true. It's awesome that there's a team facility for Toronto Rock, which I would assume is awesome because Toronto is lacrosse, like it's lacrosse and it's hockey, okay? Of course you're going to have that. It's awesome they have that up there. But 12-6, man, we told you guys a couple of weeks ago, Albany was driving the struggle bus, okay? I told you guys, I think, last week, and now their record has fallen to 2-9. They are officially the worst team in the Eastern Division, and they are the worst team in the NLL overall. It's brutal. Doug Jamieson, I think, made 50 saves, and it meant absolutely nothing. Maybe to his legacy, sure, but that's a loss on his record. So it's really frustrating. How do you allow the Rock to only score 12 goals and you get 6 of them? You can't do that. And I said it was nice of Jake Fox, you know, and a pipe dream for me, because the first NLL person I ever interviewed was Jake Fox. It was cool to hear about him going to Albany. But in all seriousness, what the devil, man? Albany is just not good. They don't have anybody. Like Colton Watkinson had a goal. Kieran McCardle, who's supposed to be good, had 3 assists. Okay, and they've got Jerome Thompson. Okay, and like, what's going on with this team? I know Nick Rose is an incredible goaltender. I'm not taking anything away from the way the Rock played defense. But 6 goals is just unacceptable in an NLL game. I expect that from the Desert Dogs. Well, not anymore, but they did 5 this week, which I'll get to next. But I expect an expansion team, or even a Panther City who didn't even play this weekend, to have a 5 or 6 goal performance. But 6 is unacceptable with the Albany Firewolves. They're by far the worst team in New York. Buffalo's up there, New York Riptide are up there, and Albany has nobody to show for itself. Nobody. Cameron McCardle and Tanner Thompson, and Jerome, I always forget that. And it is Jerome. Okay, I was making sure. Jerome Thompson and Cameron McCardle are just not good enough for this team to succeed. Doug Jamieson is your best player, and there are probably many people in NLL circles that will tell you, myself included, he's probably a high tier 2 goalie. The dude has made 50 saves multiple times this season and has made absolutely nothing. Now, I actually might give a credit that he's a tier 1 goalie, but I feel like he's not in the same category as Matt Vince or Rylan Hartley on a good day, or even, God forbid, Alex Bouquet, who I'll get to. But you cannot score 6 goals. Shout out to the Rock. Their defense is incredible, but the 6 goals, I can't get around that. The Las Vegas Desert Dogs lost 14-5 to Vancouver, and this one is speaking to me in a big way. Aaron Bold, who, by the way, is not going to make our 3 stars, was probably the 4th best player this weekend in terms of like who I thought were like 3 stars. Like, there can only be 3. Aaron Bold, I believe, is like 2-1 now ever since he got to Vancouver. And the first game, he was great, and even though they lost. Aaron Bold has come back from the dead of the NLL and resurrected his career. Great job of the Warriors picking him up. And I don't know, it's too little too late. They played a lot of games, and the Warriors' record currently, I believe, what is it, 3-9, 4-9? The Warriors are 3-9, okay? It's over for them. I know they may not be eliminated right now, but what is that? They play 18 games. They could go 9-9, but that's not going to get it done. But shout out to Aaron Bolt for being great. I guess Desert Dogs went back to normal. It's so sad because I remember the first game of the season, they scored like 5 goals. Like, there's times when this team struggles to get goals. As an expansion franchise, unlike Albany, that makes sense because you still have you don't have all the bells and whistles yet. It is it's a bunch of throwaways, a bunch of rejects. I'm not saying that to make a knock on, Jack Hanna or Rob Hellier, but it is a knock on the fantasy expansion team. Like, there's guys, they're not supposed to be there. They're supposed to be there other teams. It's nice when they are there, and they've overachieved. But again, 4-7 is still an amazing achievement by an expansion team in any sport, in my opinion. Any sport more than 10 teams, you're 4-7, you're doing something right, okay? Let's get to the Nighthawks, who defeated the Swarm 19-18. Good God Almighty! I was expecting that to be like an NLL record of like goals scored in a regulation game. It was not, I guess. Like 19-18, like 37 total goals, not good enough. Hey, that's insane. I gotta ask our friend Graham Perot about that one, because that's insane. Connor Fields was electric. Connor Fields was probably our 5th or 6th best star of the weekend. Again, there can only be 3 of those. That's an insane accomplishment. So I guess the Swarm are back to having no goalie. So in front of 9,000 people, the Swarm stunk it up again. It's whatever. The Buffalo Bandits said to beat the Thunderbirds. Here's the thing about the Buffalo Bandits. Matt Vince is so darn good. Matt Vince does things like he is the Tom Brady of the NLL. I know that's going to be thrown around, LeBron of this, the Tom Brady of that. But to be fair, Matt Vince has been awesome in net, okay? He has held the Thunderbirds, and I bragged about the Thunderbirds on this show about a week or 2 ago with Renee. I told Renee they were like the only team with like 40 goals in like 3 separate quarters. This dude shut them down with a total of 18 in 2 games, okay? The Swarm just scored 18 against Ryland Hartley. How about that? And Matt Vince did it in 2 games. That's awesome. Also, the Thunderbirds were leading 9-7 in this game. And Josh Byrne and Dane Smith took over. Chris Kluche with the awesome game winner about 2 minutes into overtime. That was cool. What about the Roughnecks beating the Mammoth 16-10? Mammoth stink. The Mammoth are not good. They might make the playoffs just because, but they're 5-6. It's ugly because as their fans keep packing the stadium, and they deserve it because they just won the championship, they're not good this year. The inconsistency of Ryan Lee, who wasn't there to start the year, throwing in a guy, the veteran they added, who, God forbid, I'm not going to remember the name of course, right now. I'll try to get to that while I'm doing this. But, yeah, it's sad because the Mammoth are a good team, but just not this year. Like I said, they added, Reese Dutch. I don't know why I didn't think of his name. He only had 2 goals, 1 assist. But hey. Now let's get to this game, because this is the talk on everyone's mind, at least in Saskatchewan. I guess the same people who didn't show up for their own home game. The Seals came in and beat them 12-11. Alex Bouquet was terrible in the first half of that game, and he is the reason they lost. But there is some talk that should NLL teams be allowed to fly private? Because I'm not going to sit here and say on this show, on the Daily Dive, who I try to help narratives, but I also try to be realistic, okay, and honest. And the fact is, the Seals would have beat the Rush regardless, in my opinion. Cooper Perkins said it best last week. Friend of the show, the awesome Cooper Perkins. Great job with his broadcast stuff that he does. He said it best when he said the Seals have a back-loaded schedule. So their consistency on offense was not there with the first, 5, 6, 7 games they played. Well, now they're hitting on all cylinders. So I'm not going to sit here and say, well, if the Swarm, no, I can't say the Swarm, if the Rush, if their opponents had not had an unfair advantage, okay, I get that. But hear me out. I'm going to refer to a league that not many people at all are fond of. It's getting a little bit of steam, but this is a league that gets laughed at a lot on social media, okay? It's the WNBA. Yes, the Women's National Basketball Association. So I remember a story coming out like last year that WNBA, like a team like got fined heavily for flying privates. And I never thought about it until now, but the NLL team should not be allowed to fly private. I know what you're saying, oh, well, some teams have money. Well, that's cool. That's cute. But it's not fair that no other team can afford it. Well, okay, let me lie. Teams can afford it, but they don't want to afford it every single week they go on the road, okay? I mean, are we confident that the San Diego Seals fly private every game they play? Because I don't. I don't feel confident saying that. I think they realized this was a huge matchup. They had to get to Alex Bouquet early. They had to be well rested. Couldn't go through a lot of delays and stupid crap. So what they did, they flew privates. And right now, it's not a rule. But it should be. Because what you're doing, I believe the WNBA commissioner said, and they have 12, 14, they have 20 teams or whatever in the WNBA, probably less than that. And the fact is, it would cost them $20 million more per year. It's a lot of money for every team to afford every single home game to fly private, okay? And again, the advantage here is that these guys work Monday through Friday jobs, okay? We've heard Colin Crawford, we've heard many players on our show tell us about that aspect of things, that they work Monday through Friday jobs, okay? It would be nice if they could fly private, but not every team can do that every single week. So to pick and choose when you fly private is kind of unfair to the home team. Because now they have to get up extra. And I feel like, again, there should be a rule. And I'm not blaming Brett Fruit or anybody for not having it as a rule. But to me, it should change probably by next season, if I'm being honest. Because the PLL just puts them all in one location and says, "C'est la vie, have a great day." When you're a location-based league, you must realize the unfair advantages. And for a team to flex its ability to, I guess, privately fly because they want to spend extra money for a week is really just a competitive disadvantage. Like, we're playing lacrosse. We're not playing logistics here. I feel like that's what my problem with it is. And again, if the WNBA can't do it, why should the NLL? Okay? Seriously. Well, we've talked about attendances and some game reviews so far. When I come back, how about those 3 stars? Who got them this week? You might be surprised coming from me. It's Daily Dive. I'm not going anywhere, and frankly, neither are you. We've had a great show so far here on Daily Dive Lax. That's Daily Dive LAX on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Check us out. Subscribe. About 29 people have subscribed to the NLL, to Daily Dive on YouTube, and thank you if you have done so already. Check us out. It's the best way, probably the best way besides buying our merchandise to help the show grow. Last Brew is presented by B-Rez Coffee Company. That's B-R-E-Z. Search them up and use the code Daily Dive to let them know that we sent you. They have some great interactive stuff going on there. They also have new flavors that you can try. Coffee you never thought you needed until they brought it out. B Rose Coffee Company, promo code Daily Dive when you check out. All right, are you ready for the 3 stars of the weekend? Because I know I am. I am ready to show you guys who I thought played well this weekend. Hit me up on Twitter at Daily Dive Lex. I didn't see anybody nominate anybody, so I'm just going to do what I got here. Our first star of the weekend. Yeah, he might have flown into the Saskatchewan game on a private jet. I get that. It's not fair. But my thing with this player is all year long, I've said he should be traded, okay? I'll be honest. I said Frank Giuliano should be traded because if they're just going to use Chris Origlieri in San Diego, then why not just trade the veteran, okay? Get some pieces back. Stack up the deck even more than what you have. But they didn't do that. And now I think I know why. I don't know if he was hurt before. I haven't heard anything about that. I know I'm just speculating here. But it's why was he not starting? Because the dude got 49 saves, including helping the Seals hold off the rush. Again, I told you guys the Seals peppered out Spouquet early, not surprising there. That man's inconsistent. Frank Giuliano held his ground. Great job by the Bull in the net there. Next up, I never thought after week 2 of this season, I would put a New York Riptide goalie in the 3 stars of the weekend. But God forbid, how about Cameron Dunkerley? And it's so cool, his last name, because how many times has Jeff Teat thrown the ball to Larson Sundown or God knows whoever else goes behind the net? Teams cannot stop that. So it's only fitting that a goalie for the Riptide made 48 saves, including holding the Wings to 10 goals. I know I told you guys last week against the Rock, I did not like their offense on Monday night, but this was a Saturday night game. They had plenty of time to rest, and the Wings scored 10 goals. Now, 10 is nice when you play teams like the Desert Dogs and the Firewolves at this point. It's not nice when you're playing the Riptide, who like to be in shootouts, and great job by Cameron Dunkerley with 48 saves, holding the Wings to just 10 goals. And finally, he's back. Something's on fire, or should I say it's burning? Boy, puns are terrible. Josh Byrne, the Buffalo Bandits forward, when the team was down 9-7 in his return to the Thunderbirds, while Matt Vince was holding it down against a high-scoring team, who came through? Josh Byrne scores the 8th goal. Josh Byrne assists on the game-tying goal. And in overtime, Josh Byrne assists on the overtime goal to Chris Cloutier, along with Dane Smith, of course. Josh Byrne, Cameron Dunkerley, Frank Giuliano are your 3 stars of the weekend here for the Daily Dive, presented by B Rose Coffee Company, promo code Daily Dive. I want to mention that tomorrow's show, I may have a guest on. I know Tuesdays are for Cooper Perkins, so we'll see. And I'm not just going to throw him under the bus now. You know, people got schedules, and he's awesome at what he does. I still think he should be Media Person of the Year in the NLL. That's just me. But tomorrow we're also going to talk about who is the best team, who's the 4th best team in the East. Is it the Philadelphia Wings, or is it the Thunderbirds? Thunderbirds are 5-7. Wings are 5-6. I'll have my thoughts tomorrow, among other things. And please, go to Daily Dive Lax on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. DM me, comment. I don't care what you do. Tell me what you're thinking about the NLL. I want to get your thoughts on the league. I want to get your thoughts on your favorite teams. Whatever it is, let me know. And I will gladly talk about it on the show as another topic for another day. But that's all the time we have today. This has been Daily Dive. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll see you guys tomorrow on Tuesday. And it should be fun as always. For all of our great guests to come on the show, and for everyone at Daily Dive, I am Michael Karvelis saying so long and see you tomorrow. Bye.